we spoke about Garbhavastha, we spoke about Garbha Samskara, we spoke about how that is the most important stage of learning for a child because most of its samskaras are established at that stage. So, Garbhavastha. Garbhavastha is the second potent stage of life. The third most important are the first 3 years of a child, 0 to 3. So it is called the golden window to the world. Golden window. Why is it the golden window? Because um, the child is exposed to the world for its first time. It was in the womb so far, and now it is come out in the world. So it is experiencing real life outside the womb. So therefore, whatever is its worldview is formed in these crucial 3 years. So it's so called the most foundational 3 years of its life. Why is it so? Let us look at each element. The first and foremost are the samskaras. Yeah. So we'll look at what are the different samskaras that the child acquires in these 3 years. What are some of the physiological development? We said 0 to 6. Annamaya is in focus. Out of the Panchkoshas, Annamaya is in focus. Annamaya means the physical development. So we look at some of the physiological developments of a child. And lastly, if time permits, we'll briefly look at Nidra, Ahara, and Krida, just to sum up our understanding from the previous sessions. So let us look at samskaras. Why samskaras are so important in this stage of life? So a child, what do you think? A child is a newborn child is so incapable of choosing for itself. It does not have the consciousness to choose its own action. So rather, it is receiving everything. It is receiving the love of the mother. It is receiving the impressions. It is receiving food. It is receiving warmth. It is receiving love. So it is at the receiving end. It cannot consciously choose actions. It cannot say, I want to go to Nani's house. Yeah, it cannot say that. That comes later, at a later stage. Here, it is completely at the receiving end. It cannot think of, it cannot get attracted to certain kinds of foods and demand for it. Yeah, it is completely eating whatever the mother makes. Initially, the mother's milk, and later on, whatever the mother feeds with love, it is receiving. So therefore, since it is at the stage of receiving impressions, rather than consciously choosing its own actions, everything that it receives, all the impressions that it receives unconsciously, become its samskara. Therefore, samskaras are the most important elements in 0 to 3 years. So we look at how these are inculcated. There are some samskaras traditionally that happen. So as the stages of development proceed, I will touch upon it. But if you look at a 3-year-old child who's simply absorbing the atmosphere in which it is, everything that touches it becomes its samskara. So what are some of the most important samskaras that we want to instill in the child? I want to touch upon 7 such samskaras which we as parents can give it. And these become the foundation of this child. The first one is abhaya. Abhaya is fearlessness or the complete sense of security for the child. The child must feel that I am safe. How do we give this to the child? How does it achieve it? So the first 3 years have to become an extension of the womb. What do you mean by extension of the womb? That the external womb has to continue for the child. What is the external womb? The secure feeling that my mother is with me, that my father, the second layer, after the mother, the second layer, the father, the grandmother, the voices that it heard in the womb must continue for the child in the first 3 years. The child in constant care of its mother father, its loved ones, grandmother. This seals the feeling of being safe in this big world, which it still does not know. So a child who is in the womb has suddenly come out. And so far it had a rhythm, but now it is exposed. It lies down exposed. And now, how can we ensure that the child feels safe and secure? It is by extending the womb, extending the voices that the child heard in the womb, extending the feelings that the child felt in the womb, the touch of the mother. The touch is, through touch, the child has a connection with the mother. This is my mother. So unconsciously, the child knows that this is my mother. So how does it know? Through the sense of touch. Yeah, through the sense of smell. Through the sense of smell, the child can identify the mother's milk, the mother's sweat. Yeah, so the child can recognize this. So this builds the security for the child. This becomes its deepest psychological foundation. Therefore, abhaya, to provide for its sense of security. So day in and day out, when the family members are there providing for love, care, and warmth of the child, repeatedly, when this goes on and on every day of the life, the child starts feeling, yes, I'm safe. Then the second is sneha. Sneha is affection or love. So as Acharya Chanakya said, lalayet panchavarshani. Lalayet panchavarshani means provide for it everything with love and care and warmth. So when we touch the child, we touch it gently. When we cuddle the child, we smile at the child, we provide our love, affection, and warmth. The child feels deeply loved. This steady showering of affection and the affectionate presence of its loved ones, of the mother, the parents, the grandparents, the siblings. So everybody who loves the child, who are there in its presence. So this helps develop the layer of sneha for the child. So it also starts reciprocating with sneha. How does it show affection later on in life? Because of this layer of sneha, which has got developed in these formative years. The third one is vishwasa. So we are talking about fundamentals. So trust is something which is not taught to a child. And imagine, these are such foundational principles: sneha, affection. It is caught. Yeah, when you shower the child with love, the child feels fulfilled. The child feels loved, and the layer of sneha is built. The layer of vishwasa is also built similarly. The layer of security, that I'm safe, abhaya, is built similarly. So how does this layer of trust build in such a small child? It does not even have the sense of discrimination. What is good, what is bad? Therefore, we do not expose the child to outside world. We keep the child at home. We keep the child in the care of trustworthy people, in the care of loving people, loved ones. So how does trust build? When the child feels hungry, the mother rushes to it. The child starts crying, right? The mother rushes to it and immediately feeds it. When the child is startled, as it is lying in the bed, yeah, it is not the womb, and immediately it wakes up and sees that I'm somewhere, yeah, and then starts crying. The mother comes and she starts comforting it. The grandmother comes and starts comforting it. So the child feels that when I'm hungry, my mother will come and feed me. Or this is repeated behavior. Every time it happens, every time I'm hungry, my mother will come and feed me. Every time I'm afraid, someone will come and cuddle me. Every time I cry, my loved parent, my loving grandmother, my loving sister will come and soothe me. So this cycle gets repeated thousands of times throughout the day in and day out. It keeps repeating. So the layer of trust, vishwasa, develops. It cannot be taught. These are actions we do unconsciously, and we help build the layer of trust in the child. Hmm? So the child starts feeling people around me respond positively to me. Hmm? And thus it learns that I can trust them. And it gives itself completely to the people around it. Hmm? It starts loving the people around it, starts smiling at them, starts showing its own affection in its own ways. Yeah, it starts looking even more affectionate. Yeah, even more cuddlier. Yeah, when it starts smiling, when it starts saying "mummy uthao" or "papa uthao," yeah, it starts wanting affection, right? So later on, it starts demanding affection, but that's a later stage. But as a child, 0 to 3, this is how it develops the layer of trust. So once it understands how to trust, hmm, this layer helps the child to become trustworthy later on in life. Because we have invested in this foundational layer of trust, the child knows that I can trust and I can be trustworthy. Hmm. The So after Abhaya, Ananda is the fourth. Sorry, after uh, Vishwasa, Ananda is the fourth layer. What do you mean by Ananda? Ananda is pure joy, bliss. How does the child feel this bliss? Through the home environment. How should the home environment be? Why is Ananda important? Hmm? Ananda is important because the Panchakoshas are developing. Anandamaya Kosha helps define the ultimate path of the child. Yeah? If a child is in joy, is in bliss, then it is set for life. It is set for life. It becomes a positive child. It becomes a positive contributor in the society tomorrow. Without Ananda, we can achieve very little. Without being fulfilled, we can achieve very little in life. We become consumers, we are not contributors. Yeah. So, therefore, for this is the most important samskara, Ananda. How do we ensure that the child is in Ananda? So, the environment of the house should be filled with laughter, joy, music. Music can be devotional music. There could be the mother singing, there could be the grandmother singing. It is soothing for the child. Yeah, there has to be, everybody should shower their love on the child. The child attracts such love. Yeah, Prakriti has made, God has created the child in such a way that it is so adorable. We want to shower our affection. Unwittingly, we want to cuddle the child, hold the child, kiss the child, love the child, right? It draws such action from us, from the family members. So Prakriti has designed it such that it gets all that affection and love. It says that one child, an old saying says that one child can entertain 11 people around it. 11 people find joy in a child's activities. Yeah. What is the child doing? Simply lying down and saying, "Ga, ga, ga, ba, ba, ba," moving its hands and legs. But we feel that it is entertaining. Yeah. A child's mere presence is entertaining. So therefore, that is the Prakriti's design to shower it with love. Then when we play with the child, look at this toy, look at this. And then, when we show care, yeah, we show care towards the child. When it's crying, we soothe it. When it's laughing, we laugh with it. Yeah, we have loving conversations with the child. What are the conversations? Oh, my baby is hungry today, is hungry now. It's looking so beautiful today. Yeah, we have small conversations with the child. So then the child knows that somebody here is somebody who loves me. And then it has it soothes the child. It gives it a lot of ananda, joy. Yeah, so in this aspect, there are some no-nos. Like in the trust, we don't expose the child to untrustworthy people or to unfamiliar people. We don't take the child out of our protection. So, likewise, we don't do certain things here. What are the don'ts? No harsh music, no harsh karkasha dhvani, no fights in the house, no roughness. We can't handle the child roughly. So we even take care that the child wears soft clothes. Yeah. So earlier, my grandmother, now, I realize why this tradition of passing on previous child's clothes to the next child happened. Because over a period of time, it becomes soft. Usage makes the clothes soft. So therefore, and all the harshness of the clothes are gone with use. Yeah. Have you noticed it? It becomes very soft. So therefore, we even take care that the child does not wear new clothes which are harsh, which have harsh chemicals. They might have sprayed some sweet smelling substances, but it is harsh chemicals. Yeah, we must. So therefore, we took care. Traditionally, our people, they borrowed clothes from older babies, yeah, older children who have outgrown those outfits, and they would use them for the child, so that the texture is soft. Yeah. So no scolding the child. Yeah. We use soft tones, we use loving tone, but no harshness, no hitting the child. So the child is given a royal treatment. Therefore, this layer of ananda becomes its samskara. Hmm. The fifth element of samskara is rita. Rita. In English, it's called as rhythm. Rhythm has come from the word rita. What is rhythm? Rhythm is something that happens at regular intervals, such as what are the biological rhythms of the child must be taken care of. At what time the child has to wake up, at what time should the feeding happen, at what time the child has to be given a bath. So, what are all the things that happen before the bath? What are the things that happen after the bath? What times the child goes to sleep? Hmm? What is the time when the child is active? So everything must be determined so that the biological clock is set. This is called rita. So why is it important? It not just builds a sense of security for the child. The child knows what is going to happen next. Yeah. So it has a sense of security. It has a sense of rhythm. It has a sense of how the body will respond next. So it helps the child regulate itself. It regulates the nervous system. The nervous system which is developing, the brain which is developing gets regulated. So the actions, the stimuli which goes through the rhythms of the day gets activated. And they start looking forward to the next rhythm. So their biological clock is set, the nervous system gets regulated. So it is that important, rita or rhythm. So once this rhythm is set, the child is set for life. Their biological clock is set for life. So as soon as the child wakes up, the child has to go to potty. As soon as potty finishes, the child has to take bath. As soon as the child takes bath, the child has to be fed. Yeah, or we go and pray together. So all these things right from the beginning has to be set for the child. So this is called rita. This goes a very long way in determining the discipline for the child. How discipline. So later on we struggle with disciplining the child. But without the foundational rhythms that are set, then for such a child it's difficult to expect the child to be disciplined. The next element is in the samskara list is Saundarya Drishti, sense of beauty. So traditionally in our homes, a lot of things were made with this drishti of Saundarya. So since the child is made up, or this sharira is made up of Panchamahabhutas, and therefore various elements of Panchamahabhutas were included in the house construction, were included in the decoration, simple natural decoration of the houses. But today, unfortunately, we have chemical paints all over. We have even curtains which are non-natural. So as much as possible, include natural substances in the environment of the child. So natural walls, natural clothes, natural texture, natural toys, wooden blocks. Yeah. Therefore, in our Shishu Vatika, we have wooden blocks for our children. And the sand pit, the exposure to um, the feet are exposed to the ground, yeah, the soil. So all these things go a very long way in developing the Saundarya Drishti of the child. How the fragrances of natural substances are naturally attractive, soothing, and sattvika. Helps the child soothe its own senses, which are developing so rapidly. And apart from Panchamahabhutas, there are other things that trigger the indriyas. The sweet fragrances from the aroma that emanates from the kitchen, the mother is cooking, and the agarbatti, the incense, which is lit in the puja room. So all these shubha, what do you call it? Avasaras. So these help the child develop its Saundarya Drishti. The grandmother who's singing in the background, the lullaby which is being sung for the child. The child, in the 4th month, there is a samskara whereby the child is taken out in Prakriti. So far, the child is kept at home. In the 4th month, Nishkramana it is called, the child is taken and shown the natural beauty around nature. It is taken out in nature, and Vriksha, Pashu, Pakshi, everything is introduced to in the 4th month. 4th month, why? Because the child is now able to hold its head. Yeah, in the third, 4th month, when the child is able to hold its head, then the child is taken out and shown around. Yeah, look at the sky, look at Chanda Mama, look at Suraj Chacha. Yeah, so we help the child develop its connections with nature. So then, from then onwards, the child looks at the night sky. The child is introduced to the sitare and the stars, the moon, Chanda Mama, and then songs are sung. So all these things go a very long way in helping the child develop its Saundarya Drishti. So indoors, the mother wakes up early, and there is Angla Todiyodu, we tell in Kannada. So the hostilu is the what do you call the frame of the door that is washed, and nice rangoli is put. So rangoli is put in front of Tulsi ji, is put in the garden. So such beautiful patterns are put, and the God's room is decorated with flowers, and very beautiful fragrances emanate. There are so many things that help create divinity inside the house. Lamps are beautifully lit and kept at various places. Of course, today we have electricity, but as much as possible, at least in the God's room, there are lamps which are lit. So all these things make the house look very beautiful. And constant singing, bhajans, classical music, devotional songs, all these help build the sensibilities, shape the aesthetics of the child. So why is aesthetic important? So that the child's feeling realm is nourished. The more the child is aesthetically awakened, is nourished, nurtured at this foundational stage, the child starts seeing that the world is so beautiful. People around me are beautiful. I need to deal with them beautifully. Yeah. So when the element of beauty is added inside the child's life early on, then the child vision becomes beautiful. So the last aspect and the most important aspect of samskara building is samskriti. Yeah. So how do we teach samskriti to our child? Not by lectures, not by telling, hey, you learn this. By watching adults, the child catches samskriti. Samskriti cannot be explained. It needs to be experienced over a long period of time. Many years. Conscious and consistent practice of the adults make the samskriti of the child. So when we do our morning anushtanas, when we do our prarthanas, pujas, sadhana, adhyayana, every day consistently over many years, that becomes the child's samskriti. Similarly, when we display in our behavior, when we display respect towards each other, when we speak gently, carefully, consciously, over years, that becomes the samskara of the child. If we are gentle at one time and harsh at other times, that becomes the samskara of the child. The child does not know how to discriminate. Suddenly it will speak harshly. Yeah. Why? Because we have been inconsistent. If we want the child to be consistently show good behavior, so where does that stem from? From our own behavior in 0 to 3. So don't think that the child is unintelligent, is not watching anyone. It is just not watching, it is absorbing. Remember, none of its indriyas are sakriya. It does not have a mind of its own. Its buddhi is not developed. Viveka Shakti is not there. What is there? The chitta is completely exposed. Whatever is the is in the atmosphere, the child's chitta is absorbing it. Therefore, it is becoming its samskara. So day in and day out, if we are expressing gratitude, when we speak truthfully, when we revere our gurus, our forefathers, our devatas, our Bhagwan. So when we do all this with great care and affection over a long period of time, then that becomes the samskriti of the child. When we celebrate our festivals with great joy, it must be a moment of joy. It cannot be, oh, ಈ festival ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡ್ತು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡೋದು. So it cannot be something that is to be done with. Yeah. Again, so many relatives will come. Again, so much of work. They all will go away. Then I have to do this work. So when we have these feelings, we are passing it on to the child. Yeah. So we have to be extremely careful. What are we showing the child, giving the child? So when we take care of Mother Nature, when we are careful to have a small garden, when we care to have a small garden, when we plant some seeds, when we are watering it, when we are de-weeding, when we show that we need to we show that we have affinity towards Mother Nature, towards at least a small part of Mother Nature. Then when we water, when we develop a small forest, when we have trees, when we have so many things around us, it attracts the natural flora and fauna. The birds start visiting. Then we put a small place where we have a bird feeding zone. We have animal feeding zones. Yeah. So we show that we care for the flora and fauna around. We care for the animals. We care for Mother Nature. We care for her loving birds, her bees, consistently over a long period of time. So this is the phase of imitation. Imitation means the child learns by imitating the adults. As 0 to 1 is stage of infancy, and afterwards, when it starts sitting, when it starts moving around, the phase of imitation is intensified. So far, the samskaras are absorbed, and now on, it starts getting executed. Yeah, the child, if you are an avid reader, the child will pick up a book and start imitating you. It will also want to read. If you are forever on the mobile phone, the child will also want the mobile phone. So there are no two ways about it. So the phase of imitation, whatever the parents, the adults around it are doing, the child will imitate it. There are some samskaras which are done as per our tradition, jata karma during birth, so that the senses are exposed to the world, and the senses need to be exposed to beautiful things, to auspicious things, to divine things. Therefore, the child is exposed to the Ishta Devata's photo, or is given some mantra in the ear. So all the sensory experiences are taken care of at the time of birth. So birth rites, a drop of ghee and honey in unequal quantities are given before breastfeeding the child. So why? So that the father who has chanted Bhagavad Gita during the prasuti time of the mother, those sound vibrations have entered this concoction, and then it becomes a shubha taste, auspicious taste for the taste buds. So this is Jatakarana. And then there is the next samskara is the Namakarana. So traditionally we keep 5 names, and these are the names of gods. It cannot be Ricky, Mickey, and those kinds of names. Yeah. So today it is very fashionable to keep those kinds of names, but it is meaningless. Yeah, when a child is kept God's name, then it is auspicious in the first place. Two is we take care to treat the child nicely. Yeah, here is Devara Murti Bandide. So the Lord has literally ascended into our homes, and we need to treat it in that manner. So therefore, we keep it the name of Krishna, Rama, Shiva, one of the, or if it is a girl child, then one of the names of Devis. mm, Radha, Sita. So this is our tradition. Namakarana is usually done on the after a few days, 10, 12 days of birth. This marks the till that time the child is not introduced to the society. First, the child enters the world, so Jata Karma. Now the child has to be introduced to the society. So therefore, a name is given to the child. This is your identity. And the child enters the society. So it is introduced to all the relatives around. That is the first samskara where all the relatives are invited and they bring auspicious gifts for the child. And the child's name is chanted. The child is put in the cradle. Total tugua karikrama. Everything happens around this time. So the child's introduction to the society, Namakarana. Then I told you around the 4th month when the neck is steady, Nishkramana, which is taking the child out in nature, introducing it to Mother Nature, sun, moon, stars, the natural environment around. So this is its first outing. Of course, the first outing is the ride from the hospital to the house today. So this is the most unfortunate thing. Where was I? Yeah, so after Nishkramana, around the 6th month, when the gut is completely formed, is the Annaprashna samskara, which happens. So a small fire sacrifice yagya is performed, and Havisha, which is put in the yagya, is finally offered to the child as its first anna, first solid food is given as the so that lifelong whatever the child partakes eats is first offered to the Lord and then partaken. This should become the samskara of the child. Therefore, such a ceremony called Annaprashna is undertaken. Yeah. So then the shaving of the head, Chudakarna, around the 1st to 3rd year, one of the times it is done. So Chudakarna is done so that the birth hair, the shedding of the birth hair, it is said that the birth hair contains certain impurities from its past lives. So all those impurities are shed through this samskara, Chudakarna. And then it gives rise to, it sharpens the intellect of the child. It is believed that the cognitive sharpness comes from a clean scalp. Therefore, you would have seen that in the past, the brahmacharis, even today, the brahmacharis have a clean scalp because a clean scalp means sharper intelligence. Cognitive abilities are heightened. Then, around the 3rd, 2nd or 3rd year, 1st, 2nd, 3rd year, the Karna Veda, which is the ear piercing ceremony, happens. So, according to the principles of Ayurveda, it stimulates the pressure points in the ear, which are thousands of pressure points are there. And when the ear is pierced, the immunity of the child develops. So these are immunity points. So immunity, whether it is a boy or girl, in our tradition, both of them, they undergo this Karna Veda samskara. So it ensures the overall physical development of the child. So these are some of the samskaras that happen, and what we as parents can give this child in this time frame, 0 to 3 years of age. So let us look at some of the physiological development of the child. Annamaya Kosha is developing, it's in spotlight. So what all are the things that are developing? So one of the primary organs that is developing is the brain. It is said that at birth, only 25% of the brain is developed. And by the time it is 80% of the brain, 80% of adult brain size is achieved by the child by the time it is 3. So how much of brain development has happened between 0 and 3, and how careful we must be, yeah, because brain cells, they die, they don't regrow. We are born with 100 we are born with 100 trillion 100 billion neurons, all the neurons that we need throughout our life, and that is it, yeah, they don't regrow. That is it. So we must be so careful, yeah, in taking care of this child so that the brain develops nicely. So what are some of the things that happen? The neural pathways are forming, the neurons are getting a myelin sheath. Myelin sheath is a protective layer, insulation layer, so that there is no cross signaling. The signals pass rapidly. The maturation of these sensory pathways are happening. So as the brain's prefrontal cortex is developing, the language network is developing. There is more control on the motor development. The limbs of the child are developing. Therefore, motor regulation neurons are happening. So entire circuit of emotional regulation, the left brain, right brain pathways are getting formed. So the child's emotional regulation pathways are getting formed. So imagine if the child is exposed to harsh media during this time, what happens? Or if we put the child to a school and the child starts learning something. So there is external pressure on the brain to process. Brain processing is a pressure activity for the child in this duration, 0 to 6. 0 to 6, no pressure on the brain. No pressure means the child has to simply play. Play, play, and play are the 3 things that the child will do. Of course, eating, apart from eating and sleeping. So everything has to be play. There cannot be any pressure on the child. No watching TV, no watching cartoons, nothing. That could be entertainment for you, but for the child it is processing, brain processing. Why is then my child hooked on to the TV, you may ask? Because it has a dopamine effect. It creates a dopamine effect. It wants you to watch more and more. They are smart people who have put these shows, right? They want you to increase their TRP. So they will put all those things that are attractive to the child's senses. So therefore, no TV, no watching media, no cell phones, no feeding the child, showing some cartoon network, whatever. Yeah. So a strict no. Remember, your child's brain is developing, and that is primary right now. Yeah. So the brain first creates enormous number of connections, and then gradually it prunes away. Means all the connections are made, every connection, and then use it or lose it. So whatever is used, that connection is maintained by the brain. Whatever is not used is lost. Therefore, we say that to a child, this is the phase of learning. You learn now. Later on, you see me, I cannot learn Sanskrit, I cannot learn this, I cannot learn that. Why? Because those neural pathways are eliminated. We have not used it, it is gone. Yeah. So of course, there are some exceptional cases who learn languages later on also, but those are exceptions. So if it is not used, those neural pathways are pruned away by the brain. So this is what is happening. Then the nervous system, one is the neural pathways are forming, the brain is developing, the nervous system is developing. How does it develop? As a response to an external stimuli. So whenever the child is in stress, stress means the child has woken up and it finds itself in a strange place, then it cries, stressful situation. The mother comes and soothes it. How does it happen? Initially by co-regulation. How is co-regulation? The child does not know how to soothe itself. So the mother is saying, oh, ho, 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 my child, she also is rocking with it, and then, co-regulating the stress. Yeah. So then we rock the child. Yeah. We start responding. We start speaking its language, the language it knows, and co-regulate it. When the child is hungry, we say, oh, just a few minutes, just a few minutes, and then we co-regulate it. Yeah, it is crying, and then we co-regulate its emotion, and soothe it, bring it to a neutral phase where it can accept some food. Or once it accepts food, then it is accepting food and soothing, both are happening at the same time. Sleep, yeah. So the child does not know how to fall asleep. Initially, you see that the mother is sleeping with the child, and then singing a lullaby, and then putting the child to sleep. Yeah. So this is how it is called co-regulation. So slowly the child learns how to regulate itself when it is stressful situation, how to regulate its own emotions, body regulation, how to ask for food when I'm hungry. So all this is learned by the child over a period of time, but initially by co-regulation of the mother or the adult in care of the child, whom the child is in care of, and later on the child learns it on its own. So these are the response stimuli, ways in which the nervous system is developing. Imagine, you might think that the child is crying for food, but the child's nervous system is forming through that stimuli and the response to that stimuli. So these go a very long way in developing the nervous system of the child. Then the sensory system is developing. Sensory system is its vision, its sense of smell, its sense of touch, all these sense of taste, all these senses are developing. So vision, it's said that a newborn child's vision is developed up to 1 feet. It cannot see beyond 1 feet. So therefore, we go very close to the child, and then the child can respond. It cannot respond actually. So over a period of time, the vision develops, and by the end of 12 months, the child has now near adult clarity of vision. So from birth till 1 year, the child's vision is developing. So till a certain time in the infancy stage, the child is able to see in black and white, gray, shades of gray, and then later on the color sense develops. So the rods and cones of the eyes, they develop, and the sensory system is thereby developing. And therefore, no bright images, nothing jarring to the eye. The vision has to develop, has to be retained for entire life, right? So nothing harmful to the eye. And sense of hearing is developing. It is said that in the womb, around 16 to 22 weeks, the child is able to starts hearing sounds, such as the heartbeat. It can hear the mother's heartbeat, and that is soothing for the child. Then around the 7th, 8th month, the child is able to hear external sounds outside the womb. So it can startle, sharp sounds can startle the child, loud sounds can startle the child. So it is able to start hearing. So from birth to 6 months, the sense of hearing is getting sharpened. The child starts recognizing familiar voices, starts smiling when it is spoken to. All these things start happening. And around 4 to 6 months, when the child's name is called, the child turns its head. Yeah. So whatever is your child's name, Ajay Babu, then the child turns around. Yeah. So it means that the ears are able to hear now. Sense of smell. It is said that at birth, the child is able to, as I told you, is able to smell. In the womb, the child is able to. How does it? It cannot breathe, right? So it gulps amniotic fluid, in which there is the mother's sweat, the smell of the mother's sweat. Yeah. So by gulping it day in and day out, the amniotic fluid, the child is able to recognize the smell of the mother. The sense of smell is not yet developed. Just by tasting it, because the sense of smell is there in the upper palate and all these regions. So it's a matter of science. So therefore, the child is able to recognize the mother smell. Um, Initially, in the first few years, 0 to 3, the child is able to accept sweet smells, like the smell of aromas of incense, the mother's warmth, the mother's smell, nothing untoward, yeah, but like harsh smells, it it is not able to accept. It will have a response to it. So around 8 years, it takes 8 years for the sense of smell to develop, so that the child is able to identify complex odors. The olfactory bulbs are then olfactory is the are the bulbs which are inside the nose, which helps identify smell. So they are fully developed by the age of 8. And lastly, the motor development happens. Motor and language development is happening. So motor development is gross motor. The child's overall body, gross body is developing, right? So in 0 to 1, it is the infant is able to lift its head, is able to roll over, is able to sit unassisted by the time it is 7 months or 8 months, and then crawling, rolling, eventually taking its slowly standing up. So gross motor, the body is able to, the muscles of the body are able to respond, are able to hold themselves. So by the time it is 12 months old, the child is able to do so many things, is able to stand up. And then the fine motor skill also is developing. So for example, the child is able to pick things, that is gross motor. Then is able to, after first year, is able to pick on small pieces of carrot and put it in its mouth. Yeah. So pincer grip, the fine motor skill, is starts developing after first year. So this way, the child's motor development is happening. After 1 year, then gross motor, the child starts walking, it maintains a balance, and then there is the steadiness of balance is achieved. The child learns to jump in one place, then kick a ball, move around, climb stairs, run around. So all these things start happening, gross motor skill development. And fine motor skill, the child is able to hold a crayon and color. So anything is given, take utensils, bang together, feed themselves, all these things, pincer grip. Yeah, feeding needs the pincer grip. So the motor development and language development, as I told you, the prefrontal cortex is developing. By the age 3, it is said that the children usually understand several thousand words. So initially they start babbling, the phase of imitation. So they will reply whatever is the they will repeat whatever is the sound that they have heard. Mama, mama, like that. Why does the child say mama? Because everybody is saying, the mother is telling, mommy is there for you, or in her showering affection, she has used her name as mummy. So the child is saying mummy, mummy, yeah, or amma, amma. So these are the first, ma is the first syllable that the child learns. So by the these are the most important physiological developments that the child is undergoing. So we've seen the samskaras, what are the various samskaras, and the physiological development that the child is undergoing. So as I told you, we will sum up the sleep, the nidra, ahara, and the krida. However, I think we don't have time. We have spoken about it in the last session. So sleep very quickly. And a newborn child, sleeps anywhere between 18 to 20 hours. So gradually it weans of sleep. By the time it is 1 year old, it sleeps between 12 to 16 hours, and from 1 to 2 years, it sleeps anywhere between 12 to 14 hours. And a 3 year old has much lesser sleep requirement, from 10 to 12 hours of sleep. So this sleep is of utmost importance. Why is it important? All the development of the child is happening during sleep. During active uh, awake hours, it is the time for action. It is the time to perform. But during sleep, it is the most of the repair work is happening during sleep. Energy restoration is happening. The immune function is developing. The memory consolidation. The child has seen so many things, and the consolidation of that memory is happening. And so we say, yeah, yeah, you sleep over it, and then you'll remember it properly. Yeah, so this is what is happening. So the child is growing. The secretion of all the growth hormones are happening during sleep, especially during deep sleep state. During deep sleep state, the metabolism is stabilizing and the hormone secretion for growth is happening. So therefore, deep sleep has to be achieved by the child. I told you the synaptic pruning, the shedding away of unwanted synapses is happening, the neural pathways. So all these important functioning. Everything that the child has seen, I told you about memory consolidation, learning consolidation is also happening during sleep. So it is going inside the memory of the child. Whatever the child has seen becomes its learning. And so it can use it the next day. Emotional regulation. So once the energy is restored, is all the repair work, all the various developments happen during sleep, and the energy is restored, yeah, and recharged. The child is up for a new day. So therefore, emotionally, the child is in a happier state of mind, is in a much better state to learn its emotional regulations. So any kind of sleep deprivations, whether it is mild or chronic, has various, remember, it will have a bearing on the child in terms, it's linked to its behavioral difficulties, a poorer span of attention, impacts the overall well-being of the child. So nourishment, we spoke about breastfeeding, and later on, after the Annaprashna, solid foods can be introduced. So there has to be a balance between proteins, healthy fats. So ghee is the first thing that we introduce the child to. Later on, butter, then some seeds can be ground, groundnut seeds, like this in form of paste. Yeah. So iron needed for the muscular and the bone growth, the bone consolidation. So it is present inside dals, it is present in green leafy vegetables, in ragi, jaggery. So all this is given to the child. So when it is for iron absorption, vitamin C is important. Therefore, C rich fruits, whether it is Mosambi juice, regular Mosambi juice is a very good thing for young children. Orange juice, bananas, all these are good fruits that the child can have. Apples, mashed apples, like that. Calcium required for the bone growth. Milk is definitely there. And after infancy, when the solid foods go in, then the cow's milk can be introduced. So later on, curd, little bit of paneer, all these things can be introduced. Vegetables, of course, for vitamins and minerals. Initially, soft, mushy vegetables, so that the child identifies and relishes the taste. So how will the child relish it? When we put in the ingredient called love. When we make it with love, when we feed with love, the child will accept it with love. So this has to be given a lot of importance to. Yeah, and then the last thing is the play. Yeah, so play is, why is it important? The motor development is happening, so the muscles need some stimuli. So therefore, initially when the child is able to sit, we put some toys in front of it. The child, imagines some play, and then we say that we use something as a frog. The frog jumps over, the butterfly comes over. So like this, imaginative play is introduced to, and then the child, whatever is available in the kitchen, the child is exposed to atta. It dabbles its hands in atta, in curd, in ghee, whatever. Yeah. So the textures are, that is game, right? The textures are introduced to the child like that. So anything natural is the first, should become the first play. Water play, lot of water, plain water, play with atta, play with milk. Yeah. So all these textures need to be introduced to. Then later on, after 1 year, garden, yeah, soil, plants, to de-weed. The child can sit there on the grass and uh, can play around in the garden. So many different things. So I think we have crossed the time limit. So we will stop here now. If there are some questions about what we spoke today, about the samskaras and the physiological development, we will take few questions. Balaji, Anna, you have raised your hand. You're on mute.
Hello?
Anna.
Akka, you can able to hear me?
Yes, Anna.
Akka, while very good session, Akka, very informative. And while taking bath, they give bath to the child when it is 1 month or after 25 days. It cries a lot when they give bath to the child. They put oil massage, then they give bath.
Yes, Anna. So that cry is very important. See, the child is so far is in the womb of the mother, in the amniotic fluid. It
Okay.
has a certain temperature, it has a certain texture, certain familiarity to it. So here is warm water. The child is given massage so that its bones are not yet formed. It is flexible. If you bend the hand of the child, it will bend, like thread. So it's not yet fully formed. Therefore, massages are done to the child so that the bone takes shape. Sometimes the child's body in the womb is crumpled up. So therefore, the hands are, in different shapes. So to give it shape, the oil massages are very important. The child may cry, then the lungs are developing. Yeah, the lungs are developing, and cry is a good thing for the child. So it can cry. So we can allow the child to cry. Later on, when the child is given warm bath and tightly wrapped and then fed, and then it sleeps for 20 hours. Yeah. So therefore, we can, that cry is a good thing, Anna.
Okay. Okay, Akka. Akka, then one more point. In the midnight when the child cries when it's younger, they think that it is crying for milk. And the midnight also they give milk. So that is, it is crying for milk or...
Yeah, so the mother knows best is what they say. So the mother knows how to assess if the child has been fed just now and then the child is crying. It's not for milk. It could be that it has stomach pain. It has not burped properly. So they put it on the shoulder and try to soothe it, and so that a burp comes and the gas is expelled. So like that, the mother or the grandmother, they know it. Yeah. So then they try to soothe the stomach, and then they put the child to sleep like that. So every time it need not be crying for milk.
Okay. Okay, Akka. Thank you, Akka.
Thank you, Na. Ramapriya, Na.
Thank you, Akka. Very nice lecture, Akka. I just had one question. This neural pathways you mentioned, right? And learning Sanskrit opens the neural pathways, and basically, if we don't take advantage of that time, those pathways get blocked for life. So, what is the right age to learn these things? And as humans, we use certain portion of the brain, but if you don't use it in this age, 3 to 5 or 2 to 5. So, and ADHD also, if you can connect with this, what is the cause of ADHD, and like how we can facilitate the making of these neural pathways.
Yeah. So you have asked two questions. One is the forming of the pruning of neural pathways. So the pruning of neural pathways happens over many years. It is not immediately, instantly removed. The forming of neural pathways take 0 to 3 years. Later on, the pruning happens. The pruning happens 0 to 16 years. Till 16, we have time. So till 16, therefore, is the active learning time. If we have not used our faculties, our cognitive faculties, any of the faculties, our ability to do things, we have not used our hands properly, we have not used our heart properly or brain properly, then those faculties are removed. Okay, so the active period of learning, therefore, is 0 to 16. So therefore, we encourage children to learn during this phase. Yeah. And then second, ADHD, you asked about ADHD. It is a complex, it's a complex matter. One of the earliest reasons is genetics. Yeah, how the child, what kind of soul has been called upon, what kind of prayerful meditation did the parents do during the Garbha Samskara, and how the child was taken care in the womb. What were the exposures to the mother? Was there a lot of media exposure? Did the mother rest properly? What kind of nourishment did the mother have? Was she in a loving atmosphere? Was she stressful? So a lot of factors, impact the child. Then the child himself, after the child was born, what kind of environment the child was raised in? What were the impressions for the child? Was there media? How much of media? So a lot of damages can happen at various points in time. Brain damage. ADHD is, you can say that there was some damage that happened. So therefore, when did it happen? How did it happen? We cannot ascertain, but it did happen. It shows up, right? It shows up around the age of 7, 8. That is when we realize that, oh, this child has an attention deficit disorder.
And that's why the exercises like yoga, pranayam are recommended for children also. Like if they can learn yoga at age of 4, 5.
No,
Okay.
Prabhuji. So for small children, no yoga, nothing. Only play.
Okay.
Yeah, play is sufficient for them to activate their muscles and for their overall well-being, to stay happy. Yeah, I spoke about all the samskaras and how we can ensure that nothing external, nothing forced. Yoga is external. Yoga can be learned later on, and pranayama even much later.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, Mukesh ji.
Namaste. It was very nice session. My question is regarding about brain development and sensory development. It's like some baby develops a slower stage, some takes faster stage. So in this situation, parents are confused. My baby is not growing. What should I feed them? This kind of questions are coming from the various parents. So what is the message for them? How long we have to take care of that? What should I feed? What is the previous संस्कार में जो कमी आ गई उसकी वजह से हो रहा है? So what is the message for them? Like how can we handle this kind of situations?
By brain development, do you mean intelligence?
Intelligence also, and like recognizing also, identifying color, identifying so many things comes.
So every child is different, has a different path of growth. So we can have an approximate range, but we must accept the child with love. Remember, we are not assessing the child right now. We are only loving the child, and accepting it as it is the first form of loving the child. So if we are seeing that there is something drastically wrong in the child, we address it. But if it is within the normal range, then we give it time. Every child is different. Like some children learn how to talk at the age of 3. Yeah, we give it time. Right? So that does not mean that we take stress and pass on that stress to the child. Yeah, so we allow the child its natural development, and accepting the child as it is the best form of love that we can show the child.
Okay. Actually, North India में
answered.
Yeah. Actually, North India में मैंने देखा बहुत सारे पेरेंट्स को this kind of problems are happening, और उसके लिए वो फूड पे कंसंट्रेट करते हैं कि ये फूड देना है, this kind of foods is very important कि ऐसा बच्चा डेवलप होगा, और या तो फिर डॉक्टर के पास ले जाते हैं, कंपेयर होने लगता है, इसकी वजह से ये सारी सर्कमस्टांसेस आना शुरू हो जाता है. मुझे लगता है कि इस काइंड ऐसा सेशन एक हिंदी में भी होना चाहिए जिससे नॉर्थ इंडियन स्पेशली फॉर द वैसे मॉम को हेल्प हो, क्योंकि बहुत ज्यादा परेशान है.
हम कर सकते हैं, बट ये मानसिकता जो है ना कि उनका बच्चा ये बोल पा रहा है, मेरा बच्चा नहीं बोल पा रहा, ये जो कंपैरिजन है ना, ये सबसे बड़ी बीमारी है मुकेश जी. ये हम नहीं करेंगे तो हमारे बच्चे के लिए बहुत ही ज्यादा हम ये सहायता करेंगे. तो जो कंपैरिजन नहीं करेंगे तो अच्छा है, हमारा बच्चा बहुत अच्छे से पलेगा, बड़ा होगा और खुश रहेगा.
जी
क्योंकि इस दौरान उसकी खुशी सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट है।
यही चीज समझाना है, यही चीज, यही इस टाइप का सेशन आई थिंक सो हिंदी में भी आप डिलीवर करें।
हाँ, जरूर
तो
करेंगे। आप ऑर्गेनाइज कीजिए, हम आके बात करेंगे।
जी जी जी
जी, we'll move to the next person, Vennala.
Yeah. Hari Om Akka, Jai Gurudev. Akka, will you able to understand Telugu, Akka? Or
no.
English and Hindi? Okay, okay.
हिंदी में बात कर सकते हैं आप।
Hindi I can't, Akka. So I will speak in English. When I'm in pregnant, I'm in a little bit stress actually. But after delivery also I'm a little bit stressed. My baby is in 4 months old now. So sometimes he's crying a lot, Akka. Even though if I'm giving feeding, I'm changing the diaper and everything, he's crying a lot. And I'm not understanding. I'm a first time mom. I'm 39 years old. So I don't know how to take care of it. My Guruji is Ravinder Bapuji. He invited your Zoom link. So this class is very, very helpful. And please guide me for in months baby how to take care of it when they cry suddenly. That is
So
my first question, Akka. And the second question is when we are in pregnant, if you told like they can understand clearly, they can read your mind, and it will be impacted to them. But when we are in some stress, we will cry and we'll cry and we'll wash the face, and when we come to the baby, we will see happily. So all the feelings will be impacted to him, Akka. So
yes,
this is my second question, Akka. I'm trying to change my behavior. Yeah.
Unfortunately, yes. The mother's psyche is absorbed by the child, is understood by the child and absorbed by it. So if the mother is feeling sad, and the breast milk will carry that, to him also. So the feelings are transmitted
Okay.
to the breast milk. And secondly, how to soothe the crying child. The first thing is to take help of elders.
Okay.
Elders who have experience of handling a child. Yeah, so you need to find somebody who is an elder, your mother-in-law, or an aunt, somebody who has handled a child. Yeah, so the child could be crying for different reasons: hunger, discomfort. It could be fatigue. It could be want of love, affection. Yeah, mostly the child wants attention. So just by holding the child close to you, picking up the child, holding the child, it will feel better. Yeah.
Okay, Akka.
Yes. Yes. So
He's
yeah.
crying actually. Yeah.
uh, so soothing, how to soothe the child. It could be overstimulated, so
Okay.
it may need connection. So we don't know the reason. It could have some stomach pains. Yeah.
Okay.
So try to see if you can give it a rhythm.
Okay,
The
Akka.
rhythm is very important. So
Okay.
once the rhythm is set, the child will know what to expect next. So
Okay.
sometimes lack of rhythm in the child does not know what to expect. It is in great discomfort. So
Okay.
discomfort can come from various sources. So try to speak to the child
Okay.
softly, gently, and lovingly. Yeah.
Currently, I'm taking care of morning and night, Akka. Sometimes I'm feeding I'm feeling disaster. Like I'm not sleeping properly. I'm taking care of him continuously. So like even though I'm just sleeping 1 hour or 2 hours maximum, that's it. So in that case, really, I don't know what to do, and I'm doing my best, but that effort is not sufficient for baby. Like after listening your class, I'm understanding clearly.
Yes. So I think you need support.
Yeah.
It takes a village to raise a child. It's not
Okay.
the job of a single mother to raise a child. You must
Okay.
seek support. You must get people to manage your baby. You need to get rest. So that
Yeah,
is
but
primary.
I'm having support. My in-laws, they are very old. They also like they are like he wants to walk, but they are old. Like they can't take him and they can't walk. I need to do myself completely. So
So
in the
I
case
think I
yeah.
think
So I
you
need
you
like
need you need one-on-one help and
okay,
counseling support. So
okay,
you can maybe consult a counselor, a family
okay,
counselor, and see how you can resolve the situation, because in the best interest of your child.
okay, Akka. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Thank you, Akka. Thank you so much.
Namaste.
Yeah, namaste, Akka.
Smriti ji.
Yeah, hello, Muniji. So this was my first time
Sorry, my
attending the
name is
session.
Preethi, and I've not
Okay, sorry.
changed the name. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, sorry. So, dear, my question, I have two concerns. One is, my baby is actually is going to be 1 year next week, and he's exclusively breastfed actually. And I'm trying it to give him solids, especially fruits. I'm introducing fruits only, no grains for now. But either way, like even with coconut water or normal water or anything, whenever I try, I'm also under a nutritionist. But it's actually not working out. He gags a lot and then he just doesn't take it. He resists a lot. So I'm trying to find a pediatrician. Basically, I'm plant based. So I'm trying to look for someone who's plant based friendly. But otherwise, I just thought to ask you if you have any ideas, any thoughts on that. Like why, how can, because I don't know. He's primarily only on that.
Yeah, so there are you can explore two avenues. One is the child's own emotional regulation, could be the issue here. So two is warmth and love. The child has found a deep connection with you probably when you are breastfeeding the child is when you hold the child the most, and that is what the child is seeking probably. So you could hold the child at different times and try to this helps the child learn that there are other times when the child will get your love and warmth. Food has a deep emotional connect. Its connection is with the mother, and it has a deep psychological effect on the child. Yeah, so accepting food or rejecting food has got to do with its connect with the mother at a deeper psychological level. So I think when you hold the child, when you cuddle it, give it your warmth at different times, other than when you're breastfeeding, is when your child will start accepting solid food. You can try that.
Yeah, I'm little bit trying to understand what you're saying. You mean other than the breastfeeding time, whenever I cuddle him, hold him, talk to him,
Yeah,
maybe massage time or otherwise during the day,
yeah.
like what I'm supposed to do, like,
So we are supposed to shower our love and attention on the child exclusively. Yeah, so
okay.
cannot be in a rushed state of mind, or we have to be with the child and show that that there is a connection beyond breast milk. Yeah, so that is when the child will understand that the outside food can be accepted.
But it will take months then, no?
Yeah,
Some more months.
it will take some time. For
Okay.
some children it will take more time.
Okay, because otherwise he's active and all, because I don't give him any formula-based milk, nothing.
Hmm.
So his milestone is quite different, but we are okay that, he likes to jump, and all. Like when we try to make him stand, he's not crawling yet, but he rolls
Hmm.
often. And otherwise his all sensory skills are okay.
Hmm.
And he doesn't have a pincer grasp yet, but the full hand thing he holds very well. But yeah, I mean, like other children milestones, he's not at that pace.
Hmm.
But I believe
So
that there is no
give it
race that we
time.
have to do,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So give it time.
Okay, okay. Because I'm
So
I'm also getting constant pressure from family and all. It's so long. He's
then
now 1 year old.
the psychological thing is one aspect. The other thing is sensory development in the mouth to take on textures. Yeah, that
Okay.
since you're talking about slightly different milestones, the sensory texture acceptance in the mouth may not yet be fully developed for the child. So therefore, some children do not accept solid food easily. So that could be
Okay.
another issue. Yeah,
Okay.
you
I'll
can get
consider.
it validated.
Okay. Okay. I'll do that. And secondly, just one thing that in near future, if you have any other session, if you can talk more about, like the other lady also said, about postpartum journey, because it's not just for a few weeks or a few initial months. It goes through years, and like the challenges we face because we go through a lot of physical, mental, psychological, hormonal changes, emotional changes, and nobody tries to understand us. And we like the fathers or even other family members. So we get a lot of comparison with them, what's the big deal, or if you shout, what's the big deal, if we shout, because they don't understand that mother's venting is something else, but a child grasps a lot of other things from especially fathers and other elders in the family, that kind of environment. So If you can, we would love to hear more on that.
Definitely.
Yes, Akka. I'm also in the same situation. Yeah, please,
Yeah.
like in the future sessions, also please add my name. My name is I don't know how to connect with you. Please, I will give my number. Please add your sessions. Yeah, it would be great help, Akka. I also joined first time.
Yeah. So these sessions actually are meant for teachers, so that it is it is uh, they understand the child properly. One, two, for parents to understand their child properly. But if there is a deeper need, then I think you need one-on-one help, because of today's mother. I really pity today's mother, because she's all alone. Earlier,
But ma'am,
she
actually,
had
sorry to
mother.
interrupt
She
you.
had, yeah.
It's just that nobody talks about these topics openly, actually. So I understand when you say one-on-one and all, but it has to go to a broader level. Like I do wish, somebody, some director or some producer also gets to know something and they make a movie out of it. That will also help a lot, because it needs to go to a larger audience. That these small issues, and that's how they impact the child's mind and brain and growth development also. Because the entire nervous system of the mother is imitated onto the child, and nobody understands that. So the child feels everything, whatever the mother is feeling. And the mother has no other option but to give whatever she's feeling.
Yes. So, therefore, it takes a village to raise a child. It takes everybody's
Yeah.
efforts. It's not just one person's effort here. Takes the entire society. Therefore, the society was structured in a certain way. There were large families so that the mother could rest. The mother had so many people to vent her feelings. The mother had a support system. She was married into a family of known people, so that the problems of cultural differences are that much lesser. So everything was ensured. But today, the poor mother is left to fend for herself and raise her baby all by herself. It is a pitiable situation. I can completely empathize with you, and more power to all you mothers who are raising your children. May you find the inner strength to raise them very beautifully, and warding off all the challenges, facing all the challenges. I will, of course, try to. These are open sessions, open to public. Vidyakshetra.org is our website. You can always look up for these sessions for the notifications. Srila Taka is probably she's here in this session. I'm not sure. So she's
Yes,
the one
Akka.
who sends out. Yeah. So
Akka, I have in the posters, there is a registration form, which if they fill, they will be getting the notifications every week on the sessions.
yes.
And they can join.
So I hope you heard that. There is a QR code in the invitation which will help you get notification of further sessions. We'll keep having these sessions. Yeah, I think we have to close here. There are some raised hands, but we've really run out of time. We'll take some questions, pending questions next week. Thank you very much. Thank you for your patience, and have a wonderful time ahead with those of you who are mothers with your babies, and those of you who have children with your children, and who are teachers with your children as well. So, namaste. We'll end with the Shanti mantra.
Thank you so much, Akka.
Om asato ma sagamaya tamaso ma virgamaya mrityorma amritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. धन्यवाद.